Good day, everyone, and welcome to the launch of ANZAHPE Online. I'm Chintaka Balasuriya, and I've had the honor to serve you as ANZAHPE President for the last 2 years. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this event. I'm speaking to you today from Bijigal land. I respectfully acknowledge the Bijigal people who are the traditional custodians of this land. I pay my respects to elders both past and present, and I extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may be present at this meeting today. I extend that respect to my Aotearoa colleagues who are joining us from New Zealand. We meet today in this virtual environment, launching an innovative alternative to what was meant to be a great conference in Melbourne starting today. The conference theme was Vision 2020. But even with 2020 vision, none of us could have seen this coming. Colleagues, COVID-19 has hit the world like a ton of bricks. It has disrupted all aspects of our lives with a particularly high impact on health and education. As health professional educators, we feel the pain from all sides. As I speak to you, I struggle with the need to acknowledge the gravity of this situation, but I also feel the need to play whatever small role I can to try and find some positivity within this grim reality. I may not succeed in achieving this balance, but I assure you, I speak with the best of intentions. The impact on the higher education sector is on a scale that is still difficult to grasp. It has, however, been amazing to see the resilience and resolve of our colleagues as they adapt to this new environment. I have personally experienced this and continue to be amazed by the capacity of colleagues to step up and venture into unknown territory with amazing courage and boldness. The strength of our student body has been heartening, and once again, I have personally experienced this, and I've seen the amazing outcomes that we can achieve when we work in partnership with the student body. Each day I ask myself, can we find a silver lining around these dark clouds? Could this be the catalyst that has accelerated a wave of change that was inevitable in healthcare and education? Could this be the time to revisit our deeply held beliefs about practices and what we do in health professional education? Maybe this is the time for us to consider some radical changes. Can we look at redundancies of content and skills within our programs and replace these with skills that the next generation of health professionals need? Could we look at resource-intensive practices that use up precious global resources, including our daily commutes to work, and ask whether there are better ways to achieve our aims? As leaders in education, we have many important questions to consider. The global crisis has also brought out the best in us. I want to highlight the spirit of collaboration that has extended beyond our shores to include our sister associations, AME and IAMSA. I want to acknowledge Trevor Gibbs, President of AME, and Neil Ashraf, President of IAMSA, for their collegiality and willingness to explore how we can provide reciprocal benefits to our members. These discussions are currently underway, and we will share further details with you soon. You will find details of the AME conference special for ANZAHPE members on our website. Speaking of conferences, academic conferences have been hit particularly hard by the pandemic response. We see many conferences around the world cancelling or converting to virtual formats. Some are trialing new and exciting virtual platforms that may transform the future of online learning. We watch these endeavors with great interest and wish them the very best. Our own approach at ANZAHPE has been to create the program that we are launching today, ANZAHPE Online, which is a series of monthly events that draw on the conference resources to provide a professional development program that will truly add value to ANZAHPE membership. With the launch of ANZAHPE Online, we offer our members a platform to continue the networking and community building that is such an integral part of the ANZAHPE culture. I invite you to fully immerse yourselves in this program and to partner with us to co-create a program that will truly meet your needs. I want to acknowledge the wonderful team behind the design of ANZAHPE Online. Joy Rudland has expertly led a team that includes Joanna Tai, Kushila Kumar, Robin Woodward-Cron, Brett Vaughan, Karen D'Souza, and Julie Ash, expertly supported by the ANZAHPE Executive Officer, Jill Romeo. Thank you, team. You have done an amazing job. Colleagues, welcome once again. I now warmly invite you to enjoy this launch event, network with like-minded colleagues, and engage in some fruitful deliberations. I'd now like to hand over to Professor Carol Steckety, the Honorary Secretary of ANZAHPE, to guide you through to the next part of the program. Thank you, and over to you, Carol.
Thank you, Shintakar. It's now my great pleasure to announce recipients of the ANZAHPE Awards and Grants in recognition of excellence in health professional education. So starting off with our ANZAHPE Research Grants, we were very pleased to offer the ANZAHPE Researcher Grants again in 2020. Funding was made available for small-scale projects with budgets up to $5,000, as well as larger-scale projects with budgets up to $15,000. These grants are intended to encourage quality in research into any issue associated with education of health professionals. And in 2020, however, priority was given to projects that demonstrated a link to ANZAHPE's strategic goals. We received approximately 40 applications, which is a huge increase on previous years. I think it's about 29 applications more than we previously get. The applications were excellent, but after a comprehensive review, the decision was made to award 2 outstanding applications. One was made to Amanda Carter and her team from Griffith University for their research project, Critical Thinking Development in Undergraduate Midwifery Students, an Australasian Validation Study. And the other 2, Catherine Easton and Linda Wilson from Charles Sturt University for their research project, Building Flexibility in Allied Health Education, an evaluation of student competency development in a simulated telehealth clinic. So congratulations to both of these recipients, and we invite you to read up about these projects once they're posted to our website in due course. And of course, both those projects will be providing updates via our bulletin throughout the year. So congratulations once again. Student prizes. As you know, ANZAHPE offers 3 student prizes each year. There's the pre-registration student prize. It's awarded to pre-registration undergraduate students in any of the healthcare professions. And this year it goes to Nicola Fraser for her project called Student Direction, Creating Videos to Orient the Surgical Environment. Congratulations, Nicola. I'm not sure if we have Nicola joining us today. We also have the Postgraduate Student Prize. So the ANZAHPE Postgraduate Student Prize is awarded to a student in a postgraduate health professional course, whose course basically relates to education in their area of healthcare. So this year, the postgrad prize goes to Rui Tong for the project Final Year Pre-Licensure Health Professionals' Perceptions of Interprofessional Identity following participation in clinical placements. And a big congratulations to Rui also. Moving on to our prestigious ANZAHPE Flinders Award. The Flinders University and ANZAHPE have had a very long and enduring partnership in the promotion of health professional education and health professional educational excellence, basically. This award honours an outstanding individual or team that demonstrates excellence in innovative and research-informed education for students from health professions to support excellence in the delivery of patient-centred healthcare. This year, the ANZAHPE Flinders Award goes to Dr. Roma Forbes. And I'm not sure if Roma's with us, but huge congratulations to Roma. I would now also like to announce our very prestigious, sorry, I'm just losing my place here, the ANZAHPE Honorary Membership Award. The ANZAHPE Honorary Membership is a prestigious category of membership which recognises exceptional, sustained contributions and loyalty to ANZAHPE over a long period of time. And I'm delighted to announce that this year's recipient of this award is Professor Gary Rogers. Gary has been a wonderful asset to ANZAHPE over many years. He served ANZAHPE in numerous ways, most notably as our outstanding president and subsequently as founder and inaugural chair of the fellowship scheme. The role that he played in setting up the fellowship scheme is especially significant. Under his leadership, the scheme has grown in stature to be a flagship activity of ANZAHPE. Gary's roles in both AAMI and ANZAHPE were important in the success of the joint Ottawa ANZAHPE 2016 conference in Perth, which was a huge success. And in addition to leadership roles in medical education, most recently his appointment as Dean of the School of Medicine at Deakin University, Gary continues to publish regularly in the field of health professions education. Gary continues to be involved in ANZAHPE and he's a wonderful advocate for this association at the national and international level. We're delighted to recognise Gary for his contributions through this award of honorary membership of the association, and we can't thank you enough, Gary. Well done. And now, so it is also my great pleasure to announce that there's a handover in the editor of our journal, Focus on Health Professional Education. Our incumbent editor, Andy Wern, joined Focus of Health Professional Education board in September 2013 and moved into the editor's role when Tony Egan retired in July 2015. Andy was also on the Committee of Management for ANZAHPE from 2008 to 2013. And Andy is handing over this very important role to Karen Scott, who's been on the FOPE board since 2013 and has actually been deputy editor for approximately 2.5 years. Andy, thank you so much for your service to FOPE. Your leadership has been integral to the important advances that the journal has made in recent times. And Karen, thank you so much for taking on this important role and for agreeing to lead FOPE through its next stages of maturity. We're very grateful. I would now like to hand over to Gary to lead us through the next section regarding the ANZAHPE Fellowship Scheme.
Thank you, Carol. And just before I start talking about the fellowship scheme, I will just crib a moment or two to say thank you to you all for the honorary life membership of ANZAHPE. It means an enormous amount to me, and I would like to thank a couple of people. First of all, Julie Ash, who's been a colleague for a long time, and my deputy as chair of the fellowship committee for the last 5 years. Julie's been extraordinary, and I really appreciate her support. Jill Romeo, the executive officer of ANZAHPE, joined the committee of management about the same time I did, and has been an amazing support over a large number of years. I'd also like to thank the other members of the ANZAHPE Fellowship Committee for the support they've provided over the last 5 years. It's been a terrific group, and I'm very pleased to remain part of it as I step down from the leadership of the Fellowship Committee today. I would like to say a final thanks to Andy Wern, who actually convinced me to run for the presidency of ANZAHPE in 2012 after I'd been on the Committee of Management for the princely period of 1 year. It was at a time when the association was on the brink of financial disaster. So thanks, Andy. No, I really mean thanks, Andy. It has been a privilege and a joy to serve this extraordinary community over the last 10 years or so. So thank you very much for the Honorary Life membership. That really means a lot to me. Thank you. So at the moment, as the outgoing chair of the Fellowship Committee, it's my pleasure to acknowledge this year's recipients of fellowships and associate fellowships. To remind everyone, the ANZAHPE Fellowship Committee has been devised in order to fulfil the following goals: to engender a culture of mentorship and encouragement through which more senior members of ANZAHPE can support the development of those with less experience, to chart a clear pathway through which emerging health professional educators can develop expertise, gain experience and undertake scholarly educational practice, and finally to provide a means through which ANZAHPE members who've attained particular expertise in health professional education through scholarly practice can be recognised within their own institutions and in the broader world. As you're aware, there are 2 levels of fellowship. There are ANZAHPE Fellows and ANZAHPE Associate Fellows. In 2019, we were pleased to confer fellowship on 6 new fellows: Dr. Kristen Lowe, Associate Professor Stephen Maloney, Dr. Kashila Kumar, Professor Lambert Schueth, Dr. Kerry Moore, and Dr. Arvind Damodaran. So congratulations to all 6 of the new fellows for the 2019-2020 year. New associate fellows, there are 9 of those during the fellowship year, or during the membership year. Those new fellows are Dr. Quang Cham, Associate Professor Rebecca Granger, Dr. Megan Anakin, Ms. Kylie Fitzgerald, Dr. Sharon Darlington, Ms. Laila Muhammadi, Dr. Charlotte Denniston, Ms. Catherine Rogers, and Dr. David Lim. So congratulations to all of the new associate fellows. Thank you very much indeed. As I mentioned a moment or 2 ago, I'm stepping down now as chair of the Fellowship Committee after 5 years. As Carol mentioned in her lovely words, I've just taken up the role of Dean of the School of Medicine at Deakin University. 2 weeks into the job now and in the bewilderment phase and feeling like I have a great deal to do in that role. So I felt it was time to hand over the baton to Julie Ash, who has been an extraordinary deputy chair for all of those 5 years. And I leave very confident that the Fellowship Committee is in excellent leadership hands with Julie, and I will stay on the committee for the next little while to support Julie and continue the program. So thank you very much, and Julie takes over from this point. Now I think we hand over to Joy Rudland. Thanks, Joy.
Thank you very much, Gary. So I've got the pleasure of actually introducing the ANZAHPE Professional Development Programme for Health Professional Educators. So this is really why we're here. So we've arranged for a number of opportunities for you for the rest of the year. So if we go to the next slide, what we'll see is we've got a session for every month up until December, and these sessions are going to take place on the 2nd Thursday of every month, so that we start developing a habit or an understanding. Oh, second Thursday, second week of the month, it's going to be ANZAHPE professional development activity in some forms, and we've got a whole array of different types of activities starting on Thursday of this week, and you're going to have a little glimpse later on of a video regarding ways of seeing in healthcare, and I'm very excited about that, and that's about art in medicine. But we've also got the more traditional type sessions that you're probably used to. So we've got some of the keynote speakers that actually had attended were going to attend the ANZAHPE conference before it got postponed. And we also have more interactive elements through the workshops, one on writing OSCEs and the other writing for publication, where we've got the wonderful FOPI team that are actually going to present or run a very interactive session there. And then on the 10th of December, given that it's Christmas, we're going to have an end of year special. So look, a very exciting program, I hope, for members and participants for these activities. However, ANZAHPE is about learning communities and connectedness. That's really what ANZAHPE is about, how we connect together, how we support each other. So consequently, we want the PD programme to be co-created by ANZAHPE members. We want to adopt a learner-centred approach to our professional development as well as social practice. So what we want to do is to give you a feeling of ownership towards this professional development programme. So really, the work that we want you to do today in your breakout groups is we're going to send you back to the breakout groups. Now, I know that some of you have indicated that we've got small numbers in the breakout groups, so we're looking about combining the groups. As I think you can appreciate, there's an optimal size for interactivity with small groups. We don't want them too small, and again, we don't want them too large. So we might be merging a couple of the groups. So don't be bewildered if you're actually ended up in a coalesce group. We're going to maybe do that for a couple of the groups, just so that we've got good sizes. So we're going to put you in your groups, and we're also going to give you a link to the Google Documents. I'm just going to give that link to you all now. So in the chat, oh, Joe's already done it for me. Thank you very much, Joe. There's the link to the Google Docs. Now, what this allows us to do is it allows us to get a sense of what you're thinking in respect to the two questions that you can see on the screen here. And it allows us to collect your thoughts. So what we would like you to do is we'd like there to be potentially just one scribe per group and not necessarily to be the facilitator, and for you to build your views as you go along rather than doing it just at the end. Because what we're going to be doing, and we've got Julie and Chintika, we're going to look at these views as they come in, because it would be very hard to try and feedback or get feedback from 20 groups, whereas this way we can try and synthesize some of your thoughts as we go along. So the two questions you can see on the board there is what does professional development mean for you? And when I ask people this question, it's actually sometimes more diverse than you think, but it's professional development in your role as an educator. And then the important thing is, how can ANZAHPE contribute to this professional development? What will this look like for you? And that's really what we want to get, so that we can embed your views, membership views, participant views going forward. We wanted to give you some provision for the rest of the year, but equally we want to give you some empowerment about the direction that we take here. So we've got about 20 minutes in groups, and then what we'll do is call you back. We'll give you 1 minute warning before we whisk you back to the group, just like you did in the first group. So I'll hand over back over to Jo, and she'll allocate you to your.
I've done a summary as comprehensively as I could to put some of the big ideas and the big issues. Can I just say thank you to everybody. Now, as I'm going, if you'd like to use the chat option so that we can record what you're saying in chat, and then we can I can download that chat, and that can add to what I'm going to be summarizing. So that would be really good. I think that's what you meant, Ben. Okay, from looking at the chat. So Jo, I'll just ask you to scroll as I go. So I think one of the main things that really came out is there's a lot of stuff going out there. So we need to be really aware of what's going on out there and don't compete with what's out there, but fill in the gaps. We don't want to be competing with the Masters of Clinical Education or whatever, but we might be able to do lots of little things that kind of fit in with that, and maybe look at, you know, things that you can get certificates or even micro credentialing for. So those are kind of big picture ideas thinking forward. One thing that seemed to come through is the idea of professional development pathways, and as chair of the fellowship group at ANZAHPE, and knowing the discussions I've been having with Joy Rudland, I think that's very much something that we want to look at, you know, so that people can come in as new people to health professionals education, become members, and see a range of opportunities for professional development, whether you're predominantly seeing a career as a teacher, whether you're wanting to build scholarship, you know, whatever area it is that you're wanting to do, leadership. The next thing, the really other big theme that came through was the need to create an online community for health professional education learning, and the kind of ways in which ANZAHPE can really support that. And the sorts of ideas that were coming through were sharing stories, and that's not just sharing practices, oh, I do this and I do that, but it's actually about ways of being and how I enact these sorts of things. You know, it's like, you know, how, so I think that's a really nice kind of thing that we could do as an online community, and set it around topics or themes. There's also this need to share our sense making, and I think in particular, you know, we're all kind of at 6s and 7s around the whole COVID thing. It's been a major disruption. I think in the context too, there's major disruptions in the business models of our universities. Our universities are undergoing major change. There's a lot of stuff we need to do some shared sense making around, and what does this mean for how we continue. Another thing, just in that theme of creating an online community, as a few things said around creating ease of communication across students, across academics and clinicians, making them inviting places to be, places where people don't feel intimidated by the language, places where people can learn that, you know, maybe experts, you know, are also feeling a little bit from that imposter syndrome, and that sort of sharing, that intellectual candor of sharing, you know, of the things that you found difficult, the challenges that, you know, the times when you weren't as resilient, those sorts of things. And basically, then moving into a more interprofessional, interdisciplinary way, fostering the dialogue across disciplines and professions, and fostering the learning in the context of being interprofessional. I think ANZAHPE is really well positioned for this space. I think that there isn't anything offered out there that really is doing this in a kind of professional development kind of way. We are the interprofessional group, peak body for Australia and New Zealand. So I think that's very important one to take hold of. I saw quite a lot of stuff around mentorship, and I think that's really important. As the chair of the fellowship group, that's certainly been on the radar, and we'll be looking to take that forward much more strongly, working with Joy and with the professional development hat. Oh yeah, actually this bit went with a bit before, but along with the kind of shared sense making, it's the sharing dilemmas. And I know that one that keeps popping up that I'm seeing all the time is, you know, we're sort of beginning to get our heads on, you know, online learning, and our heads around how we're going to do assessment, but how are we going to, you know, how do we understand how to do hands-on learning when students have been removed from placement or have been moved into modified placements? You know, what's that going to mean for their competencies and for their accreditation and those sorts of things? And we're really going to have to get smart around that. So that's a piece that really needs exploring. One nice idea I really liked, yay ANZAHPE, online pearls. You know, the idea that we can take something that's been a flagship of our conference and actually create online pearls rooms where we can actually really explore ideas. And I think some of the ideas that we have mentioned already would work really well in a kind of online pearls format. So I cheered when I saw that suggestion. And then, of course, there's a lot of material around the need for digital mastery, and you know, coming in as digital naive and hoping that, you know, you can make that transition to having more mastery in the digital space. Quite a few comments around online course design. And I think, you know, it's absolutely critical. I mean, online is a different kind of context and environment, and there are different ways of doing things, but to achieve the same things that we need out of education, being guided by, you know, principles. So how do we manage large classes? How do we build in interactivity? And then with that kind of online course, you know, can ANZAHPE help with artifact sharing, you know, and that would include recording our PD events and having those as a kind of repository where people can access stuff on a kind of just-in-time kind of way. And then there was also commentary around scholarship and research. And the sorts of things that people felt they needed was, in terms of scholarship, particularly trends in pedagogy, which is a rapidly moving space at the moment. So I think that's really important. And I think it's important for us as in our space, both in universities and in health service education, is that people are kind of going, oh, just online, and not actually challenging the pedagogies. And I think if we build our knowledge around pedagogies, then we can, you know, be leaders in our spaces, pushing out a bit, you know, so that we get both, you know, it may be this online revolution, but it can also be a pedagogical revolution. Then also looking for how we can build collaborative research, how we can build external connections. Could ANZAHPE help in that space, and links to international scholars and networks. I think in a way this is where the fellowship might actually be able to come in. The fellowship's brief is really to start mentoring people, particularly in terms of building their scholarship, building their leadership, building their international reputation, or building their national reputation. And through that kind of mentoring, link people to international scholars and networks, because this is going to be much harder now that we are not able to go to international conferences. So this is somewhere where I think ANZAHPE can work, and I think the fellowship can probably have a really good role in that. And I think that brings me to the end of my conversation. I'm just having, do I have time to look over the chat comments? Joy, you can nod for me if that's how we're going, or Joe.
Yep, you can keep going.
Keep going, right. So I'm just having a look. Oh, pearls. I love the pearls gags. Yeah, everyone loves that idea. Oh, people are saying something about the format we've got today, that they've bumped into people they wouldn't have at a face-to-face conference. That's really nice to know, because that was our plan, which is really good. How do we create connection and community online as a hot topic? Let's have a look. Some gags there, guys. Oh yeah, just someone putting in a plug for open science. Yeah, we are moving into a new world there. I think the old models are breaking. Let's go through, down. Challenging tradition, that's a really good one. I think that we've said that. Special interest groups, can we make special interest groups work? Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. So what I would like to do now is basically thank you all very much for all that input. I mean, I just, for me, it was a buzz. It's funny, it's happening in text, and yet it's a buzz, you know, and I experience that when I teach online. You know, I'm interacting with people online and I feel like I get to know them, and then you meet them face to face. It's so exciting. So that was great. So what I'm planning to do is to download all of this material, have a look at it, digest it, put it together, share it with the people who helped organize this committee, and hopefully we'll get something up on the website and share it with you all. Okay, so I think that's me, unless anyone wants to ask me a question or add any final comment. I probably spoke too fast. Can we exchange contact details with consent? Yep. Wonderful. I think then I can probably hand back. Is that okay?
Just a comment about exchanging contact details. Those who are members of ANZAHPE have an opportunity to put your a profile online as part of the membership, and perhaps not enough of us do it.
I see Tamina saying an online app could make the details visible.
Okay.
Fabulous. Well done, everyone.
I think we've got a decade's work there. So it is going to be about honing and what we can achieve and what resources we have to input. But yeah, a lot of great ideas there. So look, I'm going to take us back to the fact that we try to prepare something, you know, for the next 2 or 3 months before we got this input. But this input's going to be so important about how we move forward. But what I want to do now is play a video regarding the session. So this has been an unusual session. This has been about meeting, greeting, trying to develop that sense of community, which we will take through. But the sessions to come are more focused, if you like, in what they're going to deliver. So what I'd like to play you now is a brief video that Gabby and also Amanda have developed through the work they've done with ways of seeing. So just bear with me as I switch over to the video mode, and I hope you enjoy this as much as I have.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle Brand, and I'm delighted to launch the inaugural Ways of Seeing in Healthcare exhibition. Unfortunately, we were not able to have a live exhibition during ANZAHPE in Melbourne this year, so we decided to create this fabulous digital booklet for you all to enjoy and share some of the creative talents of our health professions education community. The artwork is from clinicians, researchers, educators, and also students from across Australia and New Zealand. This year's ANZAHPE conference theme is a vision for learning cultures, and we really wanted to inspire you to think more deeply about learning cultures and acknowledge that there are many different ways of seeing and knowing in healthcare. The booklet includes 27 submissions that include magnificent photographic montages, paintings, poetry, MRI art like this, and film that you can enjoy. And they're accompanied, all the images, with an artistic statement from the artist that really demonstrates and reflects on their personal and professional experiences of the art making and how it relates to their health professional education experiences. It also includes how they use the art to foster and evoke empathy and reflection in both themselves but also their students. I really encourage you to reach out to some of the artists. All the details are in the booklet, and connect with them if you're interested and find some synergies in your work. We have invited a diverse group of artists, including a student, to join us in a panel discussion on Thursday, the 16th of July, where they'll be sharing with us some of their insights and experiences of making and using the art in their teaching. This will be followed by a rich discussion on how we might consider embedding more creative arts in our health professions education, in research, and also in our practice. And we hope to see you there.
Thank you very much, Gabby and team. That was indeed a truly unique event. And yeah, as you say, it's a pity that we couldn't have it live, but I think you've done a fabulous job in putting it online. So we have much to look forward to. Colleagues, before we end, I'd like to remind you of a few current and upcoming ANZAHPE events. As you know, the election for ANZAHPE.com is now open, and it closes at midday tomorrow. So if you haven't voted yet, please do so. Also, the ANZAHPE AGM will be on Tuesday, the 14th of July at 12:30 p.m. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. So we hope that most of the members can make that, please. And I end by reminding you that the Ways of Seeing exhibition is scheduled for Thursday, the 16th of July from 1 to 2 p.m. It will be a unique experience indeed. Now, as we bring this event to a close, and I think we are right on time, Although we couldn't meet in person, it was really amazing to meet you virtually. And I think I echo the sentiments of some of you who've said that so if this was a face-to-face event, we may not have actually been able to do this. So it's been an opportunity for some of us to come together in ways that otherwise we might not have. As we become increasingly comfortable with virtual meetings, I think we'll find interesting new ways to stay even better connected. So I want to thank you all for attending this event and for so enthusiastically sharing your ideas. We will get back to you with the compilation of those ideas, and we will certainly be acting on them to design a program that is truly meaningful to you. We would, of course, also like to maintain an open channel of communication with you as we go forward. So we do welcome that dialogue. So please do stay in touch and continue to share your ideas with us. I am optimistic that these events will generate a wealth of new ideas that will truly help us to reimagine the higher education ecosystem. So we have now reached the end of the launch event, and we are right on time. So I look forward to seeing you at the exciting range of events that we have planned to you from the next week onwards. And I'll end by wishing you all a safe journey home. Please take care on the cyber highway. Bye, everyone.